What's up everyone, Vu of FujiFilms, and I am back with another idiotic video for you to watch. Today, I'm going to be discussing 3 of my new favorite lenses for the Fuji system, and I can't believe it, they're only f2 max aperture. It is the 24mm f2 prime lens, FujiFilm lens. I don't know, it's just a FujiFilm 23 f2 lens, as well as this tiny 35 f2 lens from FujiFilm prime lens. And right here I have mounted the 50mm f2 lens, which will be officially replacing my 56mm f 1.2 that I have used for 3 seconds and have owned for about a week, and I'll probably never use again for video work or any work because the autofocus is really bad, especially for video use. So yeah, like if you look at some of my past videos, I complained about Fujifilm not having enough lenses, and their lenses are quite old and they don't autofocus well. That is somewhat true for the faster aperture lenses, and the reason why I went to the faster aperture lenses, the f1.4, f1.2s, and I wanted to try those out, is because I'm a bokeh ho. As you all may know, I am switching for my video work from Sony full frame A7 III to APS-C Fuji for the X-T4, which is pre-ordered, and the Fuji X-T3 that I have here now that I got pre-owned to get acclimated to the system. I'm very much used to having that full frame bokeh slash depth of field. I can say that I fiend for it, just like people are fiending for toilet paper right now out on these coronavirus streets. For some odd reason, I am a bokeh fiend. I just, for some stupid reason, I couldn't get enough of it. And I wanted to maintain that bokeh-liciousness that I'm used to on my full-frame Sonys. So as a filmmaker, as a videographer, cinematographer, of course I did my research, and I decided to give these Fuji f2 primes a try because it just came to my attention that the one lens that I've been praising, which is the 18-35 Sigma EF mount Canon lens that is adapted to this Fuji X-T3 with the Fringer EF to FX adapter, it autofocused great, and I was completely satisfied with the overall look of the bokeh from it. I just realized that, hey, f2 is like a third of a stop, or less than a third of a stop slower, and no one could probably tell the difference between f1.8 and f2. And of course, my bokeh ho ass is still sitting there trying to like nitpick 0.2 aperture of bokeh. And then I started watching some movies. I rewatched Avengers Endgame, and I watched some other miscellaneous movies, and I just really looking at the image of cinema movies. They don't use like f1.8 and f1.4, f4.2 for their really subject isolating storytelling shots. It seems like it's f2.8, f4, f5.6. So I'm over here as a YouTube douchebag complaining about f2 being too slow. Meanwhile, in the movies, they're using like f4, f5.6 for their shots. And I just realized, you know what? There is such thing as too much bokeh, which is f1.2, f1.4, as you probably, for certain shots. And I think mainly because, the reason why f1.2, f1.4 and all that stuff has become popular is because that's what a lot of these modern day digital photographers would use. And then of course they start transitioning up to video, and f1.4, f4.2 stuck really hard, and that's what everyone thrives for. But the reality is, when you're filming somebody, let's say in a wedding, and you're filming the bride getting her makeup done, and the only thing that's in focus is like this one eye and maybe like this nose, and the rest of it's out of focus, it looks pretty bad. You need the whole face in focus, all the details of the face in focus. And to get that, you're gonna have to shoot like f2.8, f4, and you will still get the blurry background. So yeah, with that being said, I am completely fine with the bokeh that these lenses produce. And to be quite honest, these lenses, the autofocus works fantastic. To be quite honest, using it and testing out these past couple days and doing my test, I can honestly say that they make the Fuji system focus a lot like the Sony system. And for video, I haven't really been shooting photo with it much, but for video use, I feel like it focuses almost exactly the way my A7 III focuses and exactly the way my Alpha 6600 focuses right now. Obviously not as, consistent, I guess, but from what I was doing, I took some test shots of my daughter. I did the test inside my house just to test the focus tracking. And it works fantastic. It's smooth, it's fast, it's accurate. Here's the test results. So as you can see, all three of them, the 23, the 35, and the 50, autofocuses very well. It tracks very well. These are probably the best autofocus tracking lenses you get for the Fuji system. And I'm very happy that they are able to produce very nice, pleasing footage. As you'll see here, I filmed my daughter playing, which is probably the most toughest thing for autofocus to do, is filming little kids running around. But here's some footage of my daughter using the 35 f2 the other day. So overall, if you're looking to get into the Fuji system, especially with the new Fuji X-T4 coming out, and you don't feel like, and if you're a Sony shooter and you're used to autofocus and you don't feel like waiting another who knows how long, possibly a year, before you could even get your hands on a new Sony system, that Sony camera that does any type of 4K 60, 10-bit, or what have you, I think this is the way to go. They are tiny lenses. They are well built. They're well built, weather sealed, and as you can see, great autofocus. And to be quite honest, out of all the lenses I've ever owned or used, these things have like the best feeling aperture ring, and it sounds pretty cool too. How about that ASMR action? But yeah, they just feel amazing. They are super small. I mean, I'm gonna just mount this 35 f2 onto the Fuji X-T3 for you to see. Look at the size of this lens. That thing is tiny. So yeah, if you're looking to use the Fuji system for filmmaking, these are the 3 main lenses I recommend you get. I mean, other than there's, you know, if you want wider, you could get like the 16mm f2.8 or f1.4. They autofocus fine. 16mm f1.4 obviously is not as good, but I think for wide angle stuff, it's probably okay. But these are it. Like for your cinematic, your main lens shots, these 3 main lenses here, highly recommended. Also the 90 f2 if you need more reach. But word on the street says that Fuji is producing a 50 f1. We'll see how that autofocus is. But right now, guys, you cannot go wrong with these 3 lenses for your Fuji filmmaking use. So with that said, till next time, lighten up.